What does it mean to be so powerful that the world names its rulers after you for 2,000 years? Not a god, not a myth, a man, one single man, Julius Caesar. Let's start where every great story starts, with the world as it was before him. Rome 100 BC. The Republic is crumbling. Not from the outside, no foreign army brought it to its knees. It was rotting from within. Corruption. Civil wars. Generals who had stopped serving Rome and started using Rome to serve themselves. Into this world, a child is born in the working-class streets of Subura. His name, Caius Julius Caesar. His family is noble, but not powerful. They claim to descend from the goddess Venus herself, through the legendary hero Aeneas. Now, was that true? Almost certainly not. But here is the first philosophical lesson Caesar teaches us, before he even speaks a single word. It doesn't matter if a story is true. It matters if people believe it. Caesar understood the power of myth before he understood the power of the sword. And that, more than any battle, is what made him dangerous. Caesar enters politics. And here is where things get philosophically interesting. He is brilliant. He is charming. He is deeply in debt, because he spends everything he is giving the people of Rome what they want. Games, festivals, bread, spectacle. Is that generosity? Or is it investment? With Caesar, the line between virtue and strategy is always dangerously thin. He forms the first triumvirate, a secret alliance with Pompey, the most celebrated general of the age, and Crassus, the wealthiest man alive. 3 men sharing the world between them. None of them admitting they want all of it. In 59 BC, Caesar becomes consul, the highest office in the Republic. But power once tasted is never enough. And Caesar knows that the only way to secure his position is to make himself indispensable. So he goes to war. Not because Rome needs it, because he needs it. This is a question worth sitting with. When does ambition become a force that no longer belongs to the man who carries it? For 8 years, Caesar wages war across Gaul, what is today France, Belgium, and parts of Switzerland. He is a military genius. Fast, adaptive, ruthless. Tribe after tribe falls before him. Then comes 52 BC. The Gauls, broken but not destroyed, find a man to unite them, Vercingetorix. A last stand. A final act of defiance. Caesar responds with an impossible move. He surrounds the city of Alesia, and then builds a second wall of fortifications behind himself, to hold off a relief army approaching from outside. He is simultaneously the besieger and the besieged. He holds both walls. He wins. Vercingetorix lays down his arms. Now, and this is crucial, how do we know all of this? Because Caesar wrote it himself. In the Gallic Wars, he describes his own campaigns in the third person, as if he were not the subject of the story, but its objective narrator. It's God. Modern historians agree, he almost certainly exaggerated the size of enemy forces, the unity of the Gauls, the scale of his own victories. He wasn't just winning wars. He was authoring his own legend. And this gives us our second philosophical question. Can we ever fully trust the stories that power tells about itself? There is a moment in every life, and in every civilization, where a decision is made that cannot be unmade. For Caesar, that moment has a name. A river. The Rubicon. The Senate, terrified of his power, sends him an ultimatum. Return to Rome, alone. Without your army. Without your protection. Caesar stands on the northern bank. The law is clear. No general may cross this river with his legions. To do so is to declare war on the Republic itself. He waits. One night. A long, silent night. And then he says the words, Alia Jac Diesti. The die is cast. The legions cross. Pompey flees. Rome falls into civil war. Within months, Caesar is its master. He pursues his enemies to Egypt, where he meets Cleopatra, where empires begin to feel small, where one man starts to look, and perhaps feel, like something more than human. But history always has a way of answering that feeling. Back in Rome, Caesar is named dictator for life. He accumulates power with a kind of restless hunger that Rome has no law left to contain. And somewhere in the Senate, fear quietly becomes a plan. 23 men. Friends, colleagues, Men who had sat at his table, fought beside him, owed him everything. Among them, Brutus, a man Caesar had loved like a son. March 15, 44 BC. The Ides of March. Caesar enters the Senate. The blades come out. 23 wounds. He falls. And in that moment, the ancient world utters what may be the most devastating sentence ever spoken. Not in triumph, not in philosophy, but in pure human betrayal. Et tu, Brute? Ergo Caesar moriturus. You too, Brutus? Then Caesar must die. Not a cry of pain. Not a curse. An acceptance. As if, in that final moment, Caesar understood everything. The cruelty of power, the loneliness at its summit, and the inevitable fate of those who rise too high above other men. The greatest tragedy of Caesar is not that he was killed. It is that he was killed by the very world he had tried to master. Voiceover, calm, almost meditative. Caesar dies. But the word Caesar never does. His heir Octavian becomes Augustus, the first true emperor. He takes the title Caesar. Every emperor after him does the same. 4-5 centuries in Rome. Then in Germany, Kaiser. In Russia, Tsar. In the Arab world, Kaisar. One man, one name. An idea of power so total, so complete, that civilization kept reaching for it, long after the man himself had turned to dust. So here is the question I want to leave you with today. And it is not a historical question. It is a philosophical one. Caesar gave Rome order. He gave it strength. He gave it vision. But he did so by dismantling the very republic that had made Rome great. Can a man save a civilization by destroying what made it worth saving? Was Caesar a hero? A tyrant? A necessary evil? Or simply, the most human of all men? Someone who wanted everything, achieved everything, and lost everything in a single morning in March? That is who Caesar was. And that is why, 2,000 years later, we still say his name.